episode of Love Lines with Counselor Femi Olaiton. Counselor Femi Olaiton is a relationship expert, a mentor, a sex therapist, and a pastor. Yes, my name is Titi Lola Osho, and on this episode, we want to ask the question, how far is too far? You're wondering how. Okay, Counselor Femi Olaiton.
Yes.
How far is too far? And how safe is it to engage in joint business while in a relationship?
Okay, so here we are looking at a situation where the guy and the lady are in a relationship.
Yes.
Yet to get married. Not
to.
so much of a commitment yet. And yes, other than they're in love.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so.
Like seriously in love.
Well, I want to say that there should still be limits. All right, there are things that you should not engage in or should not do that I would consider as too extreme at this point, of course.
All right, so now this is a situation whereby, the guy and the lady shares the same passion, all right, share the same maybe skill, maybe, entrepreneurship skill. And so he's more or less doing what the lady is doing. And combining their forces seem to be a great idea. Joint business is what we're talking about here.
Joint business while dating.
Yes.
Okay, well, I think that except where the terms are well spelled out and the legal implications, all right, are also well spelled out.
Okay.
I will advise against joint business while dating.
Wow.
Because the reality is marriage is not guaranteed. Marriage is not guaranteed.
Oh.
As long as you are still dating, marriage is not guaranteed.
But they're in love.
So, love is not a guarantee, as it were, for marriage. So, you can have situations where you are dating and something happened and one of the party wants to pull out. All right? So, you cannot use the business as a bait to tie him or her down. All right, so marriage is not guaranteed. We've had situations where guys have even done marriage introduction.
Okay.
Even then, it still did not work out. All right, so you've got to think about it properly. I really think that joint business at the point of dating is too far.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. Joint business in dating is too far.
So because you want to consider, for instance, what happens to the business? Should both parties have to go their separate ways? All right. How do you liquidate? Who owns the business? All right. What happens to the equipment, the machineries, the assets, and all of that? What happens to that can mean the end of the business. And that can also mean that one party will take advantage of the other party.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well said about joint business. I'm going to pick it up from another angle. What about joint savings? Now, because love is involved, okay, they say there is love in sharing, okay, so it is expected that in a relationship, money should not be an issue. So if you love me, you should be able to share your money with me and I with you in a relationship. Okay, so what's your take on having joint accounts, all right, joint savings in a relationship?
Okay, I also think that is very, very too far. That's the way out of it.
Oh,
really?
Okay.
Yeah. For God's sake, what is the purpose of joint account while dating?
Well, maybe we're looking at getting married. We're looking at maybe buying land, building houses in our name,
We can still do this without necessarily having a joint account.
Oh, right.
All right, because the same issue, now even in marriage, in some quarters, joint account is still being debated. All right, even in marriage. All right, in some places, it's still a recipe for disaster.
Wow.
All right, now, talking about relationship is way too much. All right, you can be generous, you can show commitment by being generous, to your partner at the point of dating. All right, but at that point, everyone should own their finances, basically. All right, because again, what happens where you've got disagreement, where marriage is no longer possible? Where marriage is not possible, what happens? Who goes with the money? One party can play a fast one, on the other party. So what then happens? Somebody's going to lose completely. All right. And by the way, the moment you have joint account, you can be manipulated because your interest is much more than love now. Money is also involved.
And we're talking about money.
Yes, and money is sensitive. All right. So I really don't think joint account it's not a proof of love. I know some guys will say, if you love me, what is the big deal?
No.
Sometimes that is a sign, that is a language of a manipulator or someone who wants to manipulate. All right. So you can show commitment, you can show love, you can show support. All right. You can do all of these things without having a joint account. What if he or she runs away with the money? All right. What becomes of you at the end of the day? What if something happens? What if he uses the money for something else without your consent? Then it comes back to say, oh, I'm sorry, please forgive me, please forgive me. And that becomes an attitude.
Okay, so left to me, from what you have said, Councillor Femi, I can actually script out some dangers in having joint businesses or joint savings account with a partner in relationship. However, I'd like you to say them specifically. What are the dangers of having joint accounts in relationship or joint businesses?
Number one, you are tied down. You are tied down. Your freedom is no longer guaranteed because you have something at stake now.
Okay.
So you don't want to lose out. That may become a bait, as it were, or an instrument of manipulation. At the end of the day. That may become a bait or an instrument of manipulation at the end of the day. So you are tied down. Your freedom is no longer guaranteed. Number two, marriage is not guaranteed. Because marriage is not guaranteed, either of the party can pull out. And of course, that amount to huge losses for you. Be it business, be it the finances, all is gone, as it were. And number three, that can lead to serious heartbreak. Serious emotional breakdown.
Wow.
All right? Serious emotional breakdown. Because you're going to be losing on the level of love. You're also going to be losing finance or business or material things, as it were. So can we reduce the risk? Yes. Can you reduce the risk?
Wow.
Should the relationship not end in marriage? All right, your risk is already reduced.
Wow.
But once you put everything in, it can become that's a disaster. Once something goes wrong, your whole life is almost tied, to that thing. And that can be used to manipulate.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You know what, guys? I really do not want to nail it down here. I've got all the questions I would like to ask him when it comes to, how far is too far. All right. So we're going to just nail it right here, but I promise to bring back those questions. Don't forget, I might not have those questions in your mind. So when you do, type them right there in the comment section. Like this page, like this channel, subscribe to it, and share with your friends. Until another time, don't forget, we will still talk about this. How far is too far?
Thank you.